Today feels like an eventful day. Today is Tuesday, December 2nd, and Aften Behn or Ben, however you pronounce her last name, she's running today in Tennessee. And I have to tell you, I'm doing this video at roughly 9 a.m. Pacific time. So hopefully this will come out before, she gets her results announced. I feel like she's going to win. I feel like it's been touch and go, and that's why I haven't really talked much about it. I can certainly see the machinations where they're trying to discredit her, disrupt her, dismantle her run. I see that, right? That's active. And that made me pause because this is a big machine. It's a much bigger machine that's trying to discredit her than she has trying to get the word out. So you would think this is, Goliath. This is Samson and Goliath right now, is what's happening. And it's going to be surprising. I really think I'm going to give her 90% chance that she's going to win today. And I have to tell you, it's more than just that. It's historic, of course, but it's also the MAGAs. And I'm going to call them that, except for at this point in time, I don't think that is a whole cohort. I don't think that's a really solid group right now. I think that's a disjointed group. I think it's breaking apart and splintering. But let's just say Republicans, because I think you're going to see more Republicans come out and say, give talk to TV reporters. You're just going to see them try to regain that brand of Republicans. They don't want to be MAGAs. A lot of these people were never MAGAs. The MAGAs are going to crawl back into their little dark rat and roach infested holes and hide out. This is what they do. This is what Steve Bannon did. This is what Roger Stone did. These guys were around for decades and decades and decades. When the time is not right, when the sun is shining, they hide in the dark. When the dark comes out and takes over, that's when they come out. So I see these hardcore MAGAs crawling back into their crevices. But the thing I want to say is this is a FAFO moment. If you don't know what that means, it's F around and find out. Republicans, just people who would not call themselves Democrats, maybe they would call themselves independents, maybe they would call themselves Republicans, I don't know. They're voting for her. And they're voting for her to send it's a protest vote, is what the guides just told me. Hey, if you're new here, I'm Susan Lynn. I predict politics as well as help you spiritually get through this thing called life. And please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. That way you'll know when I have video. Leave me a comment. But I'm channeling. So when I said protest vote, that was my guides just cutting to the chase. This is a protest vote. They want to blow it up. How interesting, right? That in a lot of ways, Orange Julius, the Orange Fuhrer, he's blowing up our democracy. He's blowing up our country. Now you see these other people who would be, theoretically speaking, closer in alignment to his platform, blowing up that platform. The guides often use this image. I think this is true, but this is something like when you do this work, sometimes they develop shortcuts so that they don't have to explain a whole situation to you. They can just say, it's like this. And then I automatically know what they're talking about. So the shortcut here is when you use a bomb to blow up a bomb, when you use a bomb to detonate a bigger bomb, and that's better. Like you're like, this bomb is going to kill us all. So let's use this little bomb to blow it up, right? It's a sort of a controlled demolition, the guides are saying. So that's what Republicans are doing in Tennessee, a controlled demolition. They just showed me the Tennessee State House with the two Justins. They don't feel like they can get control. They're calling it a runaway train. Our government is taken over by a runaway train. We want to get control of it. We cannot within our own party have any power. It's corrupt. It's beyond our ability to manage or to save. So what are we going to do? Vote for the other side, let them take control for a while so that we can then weaken that party and start to regain control. So I think it's fascinating, truly, that there's so many cross party voters for her. And this is like Republicans voting for almost like a Bernie Sanders. Like, this woman has been a thorn in their side. She's been very vocal. She's protested them. They're not getting a moderate Democrat here. They're getting a fireball. And one who doesn't care about being in office for 50 years. Like, I don't think she cares. She's like, give me a chance to get things done. I'll get as much done as I can. And if that's only one term, fine. Like, she doesn't have the God complex that the spirit guides talked about in the last video around certain politicians getting this God complex of like, oh, I am so powerful. That's not her. She's really like someone you send, like special forces. You send them in to do a job. They have a job. They have a scope of work, and that's what they're going to get done. And then when the job is over, they're not associated. They don't care. Like, I got what I needed done. Now, I'm not saying she won't have a long history or a long time in Congress. I'm just saying that she's not in it for those reasons. She's in it to make the biggest changes she can make. She's not in it to win friends. So it's going to be fascinating. I think this race today is very much like Mom Donnie, how Mom Donnie just blew the minds of Republicans all across the United States. This is going to be another one of those things. Like, their minds are going to be blown, which means they're going to feel fear, which means they're going to act erratic and they're going to overreact. So please, if you have family members that are MAGA or you have neighbors, I mean, this is not a time to gloat. It's not a time, I don't feel. This is a time to make a big statement. This is a time to let the work be done. Let's just get the work done, because they're overreacting and they have anger and they want to express it. We don't want to be the person that they express it on. We don't want that. There's really some crazy things happening right now, that are, violent. We don't want to be in the way of that energy. We don't want to be in that energy. Don't be in that energy right now. Okay, talk about that. Let's move on to Venezuela. Well, it's not great. The energy is not great. So a couple of months ago, I saw right here on this channel that there would be US troops lined up on a foreign country, and the foreign country would be in South America. There was a lot of talk about him invading Panama, if you remember, right? But I saw not so much Panama, I saw a coast, because in that video I described to you that I saw these troop carriers or these equipment boat carriers that would pull up on the shore and then have a way to offload tanks or offload equipment, heavy equipment. Well, what I saw in the vision was they got to the shore and they didn't have the ramp, or they didn't have enough diesel, or they didn't have enough gasoline, or they were missing some component. You go to the picnic, you got everything. Like, you've got everything. You thought you were so proud of yourself. You thought of everything. And then you forgot the chair. You got to stand up and eat your, picnic food, like something critical, like a chair. But what's interesting, when I read about this months ago, I said this was the military sabotaging the process. And at the time, I was really nervous about saying that the military would actually sabotage something, because that's war crimes. I mean, that's Leavenworth. Well, fast forward 6 months, and it's the reverse is true. If you follow orders, you're going to Leavenworth, right? So it makes sense. Like, the things I predict in the future are so far out there. For me, they're just so far out there. It's like, how is this ever going to make any sense? And now here we are. It's all starting to make sense. So yes, I do see troops amassing. Again, not a word I would use, but this is a word that they continually use. Look for some of these words in the media, because amassing is going to be in the media. Like monsters, they kept talking about monsters. I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but it stood out to me. I often ended videos with, "We're not the monsters." Well, how interesting. I did not know this. that Steve Bannon was making a documentary called They Were Monsters, and it was about his good friend Epstein, but he was trying to rebrand. He was trying to say, "Hey, we're not connected to this. They're monsters, we're not monsters." That documentary was being filmed while I'm over here telling you about monsters. I didn't know that. So you understand when they use certain words, they're going to be in usage in the press. Amassing is going to be one of those words, I'm pretty sure. So what does that mean, right? We bring troops to the coast of Venezuela. I just saw the president of Mexico. Um, she just flashed in front of my mind. So that means that she's going to have some choice words or maybe even actions. The Mexican Navy might show up. There could be a real tete-a-tete. I don't know what I think that means. I don't know. I can look it up in a minute. There could be a real standoff here. Again, like not this is not the same thing. Okay, I don't want you to don't, but the guides are saying Bay of Pigs. Again, I think that had something to do with nuclear. I don't think this has anything to do with nuclear, but you might hear on the press there's a nuclear sub. There might be a nuclear scare because that's what the guides are telling me. I don't think there's going to be a nuclear bomb. I don't see that kind of eruption of violence. It's there, like I would give it 5%. I'd give it 2%. 2%. Because again, soldiers have to push buttons, have to make calls. They get orders. But how those orders are processed, how that strategy is played out on the field in the moment is up to that captain, up to that lieutenant, sometimes up to the enlisted, certainly up to sergeants. And they have a lot of say here and they can forget. They can forget things. It's on me, sir. I was supposed to have this, whatever, fill in the blank, ramp, whatever it is. I was supposed to have it. I don't have it. We don't have a way to meet the objective, sir. That's what I hear. We cannot meet the objective, sir. And it could be that it's a failure. It could be spirit. Look, don't ignore spirit's role in this. Like I used to tell you guys, there's the there's the scales of justice. And one of the big aha moments that was not pleasant that I realized, scales are always moving. Sometimes the bad guys are winning. Sometimes the good women are winning. They're never frozen. It's always balancing bad, good, bad, good, bad, good. So, what I was telling you guys all last year was Spirit was going to put her size 13 high heels on the scale and help us out. And I believe that's happening. There's just too many coincidences that keep happening, leaks that keep happening. There's so many millions, thousands of us that are trying to save this country, that are trying to rewrite the direction we're going in. And that's important on every level. The person who donates at the food bank, the person who gets food from the food bank. That is the synergy of giving and receiving. That's what it's all about. If I'm giving and you're not receiving, then this link is broken. We need that link to always be active. And that means that a soldier, that a lieutenant, that a sergeant, that a captain, that a major refuses orders or misplaces an order or whatever it is, that's part of the link. Okay, so there's a lot of that energy happening. So I do see, again, Claudia Scheinbaum. I'm telling you, I couldn't say her name. This is Spirit. She is going to be active. I don't know if she's just going to be words, like if she's going to have like a strongly worded speech that she gives, or a threat, or I hear an ultimatum. She's going to be giving an ultimatum. Now, again, I do this because forewarned is forearmed, right? I feel like if we can peek around the corner towards the future, Well, we could be a little bit more prepared. Maybe we don't know every single thing that's going to happen, but we know the energy. We know the energy supports troops amassing on a border. I feel from the water. I don't know why. I just feel it's from the water. I don't know why. So we know that. We know that there's a very, very small chance of it becoming a war. We do know that there could be mention of nuclear subs, nuclear arms, something like that. We do know that this could feel very much like a point of no return. Okay, like edgy, really, really edgy. I don't see it going there. Brinksmanship. We talked about it in the last video. We talked about brinksmanship in relation to government shutdown. Now they're talking about it in relation to this military situation. Now, in the end, look, I'm channeling. I don't always agree with what they say, or I don't always understand what they say. You're going to, if you're a longtime viewer, you're going to understand when I say call 1-800 Spirit Guides, press 1 for complaints. But this is needed. Okay, just hang with me for a minute. It's needed because the world order is shifting. Maybe Mexico is going to have a bigger, powerful role to play in that part of the globe, right? In Central South America. So it's important. They're saying this is not, none of this is wrong. This is all important. Just like they would say for you and me to stand up in our own lives, stand up against the bully. Mexico is standing up against the bully, and they're saying no, we're not going to do this, right? You might also see Colombia get involved, but I'm not sure whose side they're on. I feel like Colombia might be playing both sides like China does. You know, China, India, they want to arm Russia, buy Russia's oil, whatever, but at the same time, they want to give lip service to the world should be peaceful. I kind of feel like Colombia could be one of those situations where on the surface, they're uh, saber rattling, is what the guides are saying, because again, this is an attack. For the guides are saying this is an attack on a continent. It's like really the attack on Ukraine is an attack on Europe. You can't divest one country from a continent that is so packed with countries. Now, of course, South America, Central America, well, Central America is very dense, is very, a lot of countries, but South America is very expanded. But it feels like this is an opportunity for these countries to to have newfound respect. They're going to have a bigger role to play. They're going to have more kind of currency to use. Like they have more cachet. You want our beef, you want our oil, you want whatever it is. Because I think there's other minerals, frankly. I think there's other minerals in Venezuela and some of these other countries that perhaps aren't really public yet, but they're not public because you know how when you get a really good deal and you hide the item, you don't want anybody to find it because you need to go grab your daughter, grab your husband. You want a second opinion or you want to come back and get it. So you hide it. You don't tell anybody about it. You hope tomorrow that sucker's going to be there where you hit it on the bottom of the rack. That's why they're not talking about these hidden minerals or objects, whatever they are. They're very valuable. They want them for themselves. Don't want anybody to know about it. So they're going to make a big deal about it being oil. I'm not saying it's not oil. I'm saying that their oil is not great oil. It's oil, but it takes more refining and it takes more effort to make it oil. Is it valuable? Yes. But I think there's something else that's hidden that they don't want anybody to know about until they secure it. Now, what does secure it mean? It means that regime change. The guides just said regime change. So we want to make sure that we have I ain't a party of this. I don't know who they talking about. Just because I'm a United States citizen don't mean I'm signing off on this stuff. They better rewrite that sentence. Okay. I'm not kidding. Like, I don't want nothing to do with that energy. Okay, the United States wants a patsy. They need somebody in there that they can control. Now we have to understand that the United States right now is not the United States, right? The United States is now a puppet on a string being controlled by other countries. So it's not, whereas I think Orange Julius wants, I mean, he's flexing his muscles. He's like, oh, I'm big, I'm bad. He's not. He's not. He's a he's a puppet. He's a puppet. But he's a useful idiot right now. They can use the American amazing military might that we have to go attack whoever they want. And then once the CIA does this regime change, which we've got a long history of doing, then that person that's been planted in that role of power doesn't really answer to the United States. That's my whole point. They don't answer to the United States. They answer to much bigger players right now because we've been diminished, we've been hollowed out, we've been sucker punched, you know. So end result is Venezuela's in trouble, because there's also a sense of, wow, this is not good. Okay, so there's also a sense that I just hate being a patsy, right? I hate my country being used as a useful idiot. I hate that. I hate that. So, okay, here's what I just got was, okay, so the United States is, we are big. We are powerful, and there's no denying that. We are there amassed on the coast. We're flexing our muscles. We're doing our thing, that's a distraction. Like, doesn't that make sense? How many distractions have we had? How many people have been offed or disappeared as a distraction from something else? Here we are. This is a distraction. The thing that I'm a little concerned about is, while we're over there puffing our chest and beating on our chest, and thank God our military is being ineffectual, so that's making nothing happen. I mean, let me just say, because I'm channeling, this is without emotion. Something might happen. I don't want to gloss over any loss of life. I don't want to gloss over any terrible things that happen. I'm just telling you, in the scheme of things, it's not war. It's not this big conflagration. Yes, people could cross. There could be dastardly deeds. I don't want to gloss over that. Okay, that it could even be like a friendly fire, like a training thing. That can happen, but it, on the level of extremity, it's not war. It's not nuclear war. Okay, so I just want to honor that, and then tell you that while this is happening over here, there are insurgents. Like, I'm going to be a little careful here because I'm way behind the velvet ropes now. I mean, I'm like full ninja mode, get smart mode with my watch. I'm like in somebody, I don't even need to be here. Like, my guides are like, oh my God, somebody please stop her. There's insurgents that come from another country, not going to say whom, and they come in and do the regime change, or or do something that is, you know, bad, like a boom boom thing, but this would be inland. So again, there's always a two-pronged thing that I've talked about this quite a bit, but yeah, the United States might, amazing, right? So they want to use that. They want to use us as their own private army, their own private navy, their own private air force, the whole thing. But at the same time, they also want to set us up to look like we are thieves, heinous monsters, and ineffectual, just idiots. There's always two things. They want to use our might, but then they want to set us up to make us look weak because it's about destroying us. They don't, they no, dictators don't keep powerful things around that aren't theirs. Okay. Like I've always told you guys, kings don't have vice kings. You know what I mean? Like, so yes, they're going to use us, and then they're going to sabotage us. Okay. So there could be this end around thing where there's this attack on Venezuela. Where is Caracas? I don't know. Uh, Caracas. Oh, it's the capital of Venezuela. So, yep, real time, you guys, real time. Okay, so there could be an attack on the capital of Venezuela, and I don't want to go there. It's just bad. It's got Russia all over it, but I don't think Russia is the only person or the only entity here. Think about people that really piss you off right now. Countries. This would be the countries that would be doing this, and and they're going to try to blame us, the United States. They're going to try to blame SEAL Team 6 or the CIA or whatever. Now, what is that going to do? Guess what that's going to do? I've been saying this for years, since his first reign of terror. MAGA, one thing that MAGAs agree on, well, besides being racist, besides that, they don't want war. They don't want any money going anywhere. They don't want any money going anywhere. They don't want war. So they're already going to be mad. If we have a sizable group down in Venezuela, of course the Republicans are going to try to convince everybody that this is like drugs and their usual play button, push gay, push trans, push non-white people, and push illegal aliens, push drugs, and then repeat, right? Just repeat that. Push welfare queen, whatever you want to do. So MAGAs are not gonna. This is going to further splinter that base, because it will be broadcast that this is happening. Like, you will see Fox News cover this, and they will. That's it. Like, that's the last straw. Like, you've already made my prices go up. My hospitals disappeared. My doctors, even though I didn't like them because they weren't, American, they weren't white men. I didn't like them, but at least I did have a doctor. Now I don't have one, because I don't have a hospital, because I live in a rural area and I've got nothing. My, Social Security's late. My SNAP is gone. You've already made them so mad, and now you're going to go to war. This could be the catalyst. This could be the spark that lights the final wildfire for them to get involved in a way that I've always seen, that I've always been talking about. How you and I were out there protesting, whatever, and then this literally like herd of people come running, and like a melee, like a tsunami of people come running. And if you get in their way, they're going to trample you, because they can't see straight. They're looking at the orange Fuhrer and they want to remove him. So don't get in front of that. Once that train starts running, get out of the way. Let it run. Let it run right for its target. Tell them which direction to go. It's that way. So that's going to be not good for them. It does damage international relations. I think we already have damaged international relations because of all the boats that they keep blowing up. For those of you who think that The Hague or somebody's going to hold the United States accountable, I learned that, isn't it interesting that during G.W. Bush and Dick Cheney's reign of terror, the United States is no longer participating in the ICC, the International Criminal Court. We said, peace out, we're leaving. We're not participating in The Hague. We're not going to allow you to hold us accountable. We're too good for that. We are perfect Americans. Therefore, the ICC and The Hague have zero to do with us. Cannot control us, cannot do anything. Can these countries sanction us? Yes. Can they put their own tariffs on us? Yes. There are things they can do to us, but there's no international police that's going to come and arrest Kash Patel or Hegseth or Trump or Bondi. It's not going to happen. We bowed out of that pact during Cheney and Bush. Like I've been telling you guys, this has been going on for decades. The guides keep mentioning Ollie North. This has been going on for decades. We have not chosen to acknowledge it. And so now it's running wild, right? It's like that bully in your family that everybody just placates. We all have somebody bully in your job. Everybody just walks on eggshells. The narcissist. Everybody walks on. You placate them. Guess what? They get worse, don't they? They don't get better. They get worse. So this is what's happened, right? The energy has just gotten worse and worse. And now here we are with a 5 alarm fire right here in our country. So bottom line with Venezuela is that it does give other countries an opportunity to step up and have more autonomy, to have more authority. It there could be publicly stated or informed or acknowledged things that happen from other countries that interfere with Venezuela. For instance, yeah, I mean, it's just like they're just showing me some. I could probably talk about this for hours, but I don't need to. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is that I don't see this. I don't see this becoming World War III. I do see it becoming brinksmanship. I do see it being very tense and maybe a little scary. And I swear to God, the guides are saying that's good because people need to wake up, and not just Americans, not just North Americans, not just United States Americans, Central Americans, South Americans. These countries have real value that they're going to start realizing, and they're going to start demanding a better seat at the table. So that's what all is happening right there. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't see it being like the hugest thing in the world. It's going to be, when I say that, I know I'm not emotional. And then I see all you guys saying, Susan, my God, this is huge. For a human, yes, it's huge, but it's not going to be the end of our way of life. They're saying it's not going to be the end of us. It's just going to be humans being human, which we're very warlike. We're very antagonistic. We're trying to evolve out of that, but we still have that reptilian brain of, you know, fight. So we're kind of still dealing with that energy. Okay. I want to talk about one other thing. The other day I was on Threads, which is where I go when I'm unhinged. So if you want to see what I'm like when I'm not channeling, go to Threads. It's crazy. So anyway, I was on Threads and I said on Threads, because sometimes I'm just like, the guides are always kind of interacting with me, depending on my own ability to connect, which means, am I freaked out? Am I mad? Am I fearful? Am I emotional? Then it's harder for them to connect. When you're just chilling out, it's much easier for them to connect. FYI. So the other day I got out of the clear blue sky, so to speak, another euphemism that we use that's actually guidance, but you would say out of the clear blue sky, I got this thing. Well, I want you to connect A plus B to equal spirit guides. Okay. Out of the clear blue sky, I started thinking, or I got the picture, I got a thought download about Mitch McConnell's sister in law, who was very successful and powerful in the shipping world. I think she had a shipping company, or she was very involved in that. She was very powerful. She was at a ranch in Texas. Now, I'm not talking about 1,000-acre ranch. I'm talking about in Texas, this would be probably a ranchette. I don't know. Was it 10 acres, 20 acres? I don't know. Not huge. Okay. I'm not talking about huge, huge. She was at a family friend's house. I don't remember. She was driving out of their driveway in a Tesla, and her Tesla, somehow she ended up in a pond, and the door's locked. She couldn't get out. She made a call to someone, to a friend, someone, a family member. That has been recorded. And she drowned. Now, right after that happened, this is what I thought was so interesting, and it stuck in my mind. Here's another thing. things that you can't forget about are important, right? Like you can't remember your lunch. You can't remember to bring that thing. But you remember that one thing somebody said to you 10 years ago and you can't ever forget it. That's important. It's like spirit put a sticky note right on your consciousness. So this thing happened. I remember the sheriff at the time said in an article, and I can't find this. I probably could maybe if I did like hours of digging. This looks fishy. Now, this is in Texas, y'all. I lived in Texas for 30 years, and for a sheriff to say something looks fishy is pretty unusual because they understand they have a public persona, and their public persona is I don't want to say nothing ever. you know, let the investigators figure it out. Usually sheriffs are like very political savvy. This sheriff, of course, was sort of in more of the rural country, albeit wealthier rural country. He said this looks fishy to me. Well, that never left my mind. I have no doubt in my mind that she did not put that Tesla in that water. All the reports are that she was intoxicated. I don't know if a tox screen actually ever was produced, number one, but number two, we know now after so many things that have happened with Butler, with CK Kirk, with all the things that have happened, we know with Ivana, things happen and look at George Julius with his medical records, completely fake. So I'm telling you, this popped in my mind. I think this happened a year or two ago. And I'm like, God, that's weird. Why would that pop in my mind? So I put it on Threads. Why would that's so weird. One of the people on Threads, I hope you're watching, said, oh, by the way, did you hear that Mitt Romney's sister-in-law just fell out of a parking garage, off a parking garage or something? I'm like, no, I didn't hear that. Okay, you guys, here's what I want to say about this. We are entering the period of time where it's all falling apart. And when you have a crime ring, it doesn't, you don't just, well, look at Epstein, right? You don't just get to, the guides always use the analogy you're in the mob. You don't just go up and tell the guy, hey, you know what, been good, man, that robbery, oh, that killing, that was the best years of my life. But knees are hurting, getting a little old. I got gout. I'm just gonna retire over here to, you know, this little town and this little state, and we'll just forget about everything that I know. No, you are going to be at the bottom of the river in that little town, in that little state. You know what I mean? You don't get to walk away from the crime family. Okay, so this is also the energy of the entire cabinet. You don't get to walk away from the crime family. I've been saying this energy around his cabinet is we're all made. We've all done crimes. Secret societies sometimes are about you share your crime, I'll share my crime, and now we hold each other in check. You're never going to turn on me because I can turn on you. Now we're safe. We've created a safe space. This is what our White House is full of. Is a cabal full of monsters that have created a safe space. Nobody can rat the other one out because everybody else has got dirt on you. If you want out, well, then you're probably going to have to go out in a coffin, right? Now, what does that have to do with Mitt Romney's sister-in-law? Well, Mitt Romney, another thing I'll never forget, right after Jan 6, like the day after, very soon after Jan 6, he was interviewed on video, and he said, I have had to increase my security spending. I don't know what it was. To me, it was like really, really exorbitant. He's like, every day I have to pay for me, my wife, my kids, like a whole security detail. I pay out of my pocket. But my peers, they can't afford that. They don't have that kind of money. They might have money, they don't have that kind of money to do it every single day, 30 days, 365 days. They don't have that kind of money. And he kind of let it drop. Okay. So this is also why, right? A lot of Congress is now doing his bidding. They're terrified. They've been threatened. And you see the Hortmans, the people that got killed. You see the judge's family that got killed. You see Epstein. You know Mitch McConnell's sister-in-law, Mitt Romney's sister-in-law, Ivana, so many more. Epstein, so many more that we don't even know. That we don't even know. These are threats, and they're coming. They're literally proving I can touch you. Months and months, year ago, maybe more, the guides talked about. 'Cause I don't read these kinds of novels. I don't read true crime or spy novels or mysteries. I don't read any of that. So remember when the guides showed me that picture of that book, and you guys told me who it was, Mario, somebody, I think. Anyway, also The Godfather. I've not watched that movie. I don't know any of this. I mean, in some ways, it really helps me be a clearer channel because I can tell you what the guides are getting and you guys can figure out what it is, right? Is there something about a horse's head? But also, like, I said this on a video at least a year ago. I said, they're going to send proof that they can get to you, that you're not out of reach. And it might be that they send something that you care about, right? A piece of somebody, right? Or they might off somebody just to prove to you, I can get to you. I got to this person, I can get to you. The guides are saying the call is coming from inside the house. They have access to you. Once they do that, you are terrorized. Like all last year when Judge Merchan, do you remember? His daughter was getting attacked. He was getting attacked. He ended up not sentencing this guy. You can't deny that intimidation plays a huge role. Even if you think you're not being intimidated, you likely are. You likely are taking it into your consideration of your actions. Okay. So, do I think that Mitt Romney's sister-in-law threw herself off of a car, whatever she did, a parking lot? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that she could have had some, yes, I would imagine if you're living in that kind of life where people are constantly trying to off you because your brother-in-law had to pay all this money to protect himself. I can imagine the stress is pretty high. I think she was under a lot of stress. I think that let's just say I don't think it was an accident. Okay. Now, what does that have to do with Congress, or what does that have to do with the cabal in the White House? Another thing I predicted last year is that people could be unaliving themselves. Things are getting tight, things are getting scary, things are getting revealed. The Epstein papers, files are being revealed. You're going to see people unalive themselves. I'm saying judges, potentially elected officials, but I'm also saying some of them might not have truly done that, a la Epstein. Okay? So I think it's interesting that my guides showed me Mitch McConnell's sister-in-law, and then literally a few days before, Mitt Romney's sister-in-law also died. So it's getting fraught, you guys. The energy is getting more and more tense, and something is going to break. Something has to break soon. I don't see us carrying this type of tension for another 6 months. I don't see it. It's like a wire. It's going to break. It's going to break. Now, what does that mean? I think it means that, when something finally, your fever breaks, you're exhausted, you're sweaty, you might even be semi-conscious, but that part is done. You know that part is done. So that's where I feel like we're getting is all of this is building to some kind of climax, some kind of volcanic eruption kind of time. And after that, we have the pause that I've been seeing, right? Like just not saying we're not going to go from the fever breaks to the patient is up going back to work. That's not how it works. The fever breaks, you've got to regain your strength. You're still vulnerable. You're still very weak. This is our country. The fever's going to break. We're still going to be vulnerable. We're still going to be weak. But I feel like we're going to find stabilization. And then it's really a matter of this energy of the pitchforks of the MAGAs that I just described to you that are rushing in to take a piece out of somebody. It's a matter of if that energy doesn't get put out, then instead of a pause, we go into more of a time of conflict where but okay, let me see if I can explain this. So right now the conflict is coming from the government. They're attacking us. They're literally attacking citizens. It reverses. There's a potential. This isn't 100%, but there's a potential that it reverses. The citizens start attacking the government. The citizens start attacking power, whatever that is. Like whatever they think they're mad at. They're mad at the electric grid. They're going to attack that. Are they mad at your water? You know, they're going to attack that. Are they mad at your city council? Okay, they're going to attack that. There's this sense of just berserk. The guides have used that word many times. Pay attention to the words you hear me use throughout several videos, and look up the definition of berserk. I think there's a Viking energy around the word berserk where people just lose their mind. Like they're literally like just lost their minds with anger. They're unhinged. Because what have you done? You have ruined my country. I don't believe anything anymore. I put this on threads too. People are going pretty soon, they're not going to believe anything. Not Fox News, not the Democrats. They're not going to believe anything. They're going to be literally unconnected to reality because they can't. What can I trust? AI has made everything untrustworthy. The Republicans have lied to us. My dear country that I've always loved and always been patriotic for has lied to me. I mean, ask any Vietnam vet, right? Okay. Ask a Vietnam vet that hasn't turned into a MAGA, but ask people, ask Native Americans, just start there. Just go find any Native American and talk to them. Read Native American history. Go from there to African American history, to slaves. Go from there to women. Go from there to LGBTQ and to Asians and to Latinos. And you pretty much can understand that this country was built on taking advantage of those less advantaged. So now people are like, oh my God, this country's terrible. Like, this is a terrible country, like The Ugly American. Have you ever read that book? You might want to. I read it when I was a kid. So you have this, I'm going to use this word again, ontological shock. Ontological shock, where everything I believed in is untrue. That's not really true, but you feel like that. You feel deep remorse and shame for your country. Not good. This is not good. This is what happens when you have a power vacuum. Remember when the guides kept talking to you guys, me, about the power vacuum? We get rid of Orange Julius. We put in JD. He has no power. He's hated. He's loathed. This man is loathed. Okay. I mean, people loathe him. Truly. They hate this man. That's a power. He doesn't have any power. Who's got the power? We need a leader to show up. We've got to focus all of our energy around a leader. If that leader doesn't show up, then we're left to fight each other. We're left to, it's like Hunger Games, we're survival mode because we don't believe in the greater good, right? Now, I don't think that's going to happen on a large scale because the greater good is happening right now. You see, thank God for once in the entire founding of our country, you see white people showing up and putting you know, uh, their privilege on the line against these ICE people. You see it. White people said, okay, we got to do this, right? Like we're the ones that we're inoculated. We're protected. Let us go out there and be on the front line. So to me, that's really hopeful. That's the most hopeful thing that's happening right now in our country is that we are realizing that we're all in this together. It's us. The answer is us, not the president, not the vice president, not even the Congress. The answer is us. If we started linking our energy together, despite our differences, they couldn't touch us. They could not control us. We are so powerful. So it doesn't have to happen that we fight each other. That's the exact opposite of our lesson. So I feel like there is some energy of this erratic, berserk energy. It's mostly MAGAs who are just mind blown and angry. And they're angry people anyway. One of the reasons why they're MAGAs is because they don't process their feelings, right? They eat them, they drink them, they smoke them, and they shoot them. So I think these people could be untethered, they could be volatile. And that's why I tell you guys stay out of their way. If somebody has road rage against you or you have a neighbor that's angry at you, believe me when I say they're going to take all the anger that they have, which is significantly more than ever, towards their pathetic station in life, and you become the target. So my best advice is don't become the target. Lay low, let this pass. This energy is moving fast. It's going to pass. It's not going to be it's not going to be like what we've been living through, which is like this glacial hell. This is fast energy. So just somebody does something, that's in your face, I would just get out of their way. I would just leave. I would distance yourself from anybody because right now the energy suggests that people are a tinderbox, and those people who are not healed, who are really wounded, who are really not really well mentally, there's going to be more problems from them. Okay. But meanwhile, there's so much more beautiful energy that's happening because those people that are injured and wounded need help. And in as much as you and them can start some sort of reciprocal helping situation, you can actually help them come out of the cult and start to see things differently. So there's a lot of energy around healing here. Really more energy around healing here. But I can't ignore this berserk energy. So we just need to be aware of it. You need to understand that these people have been radicalized. I've been saying this for years. I'm not dissing video games, but I am saying that when you play video games 10 hours a day, 5 hours a day, 3 hours a day, 1 hour a day, you are in this other world where if it's a violent video game, you're killing things. Number one. Number two, you're in a closed circuit with friends that live all around the world that you're talking to. Your brain is receptive to these messages the guides are saying. Your brain is more receptive to these messages because you're not in your reality. You're not at work. You're not at school. You're in an altered state and your brain is more receptive to these messages. So you're going to see more radicalization of some people. Okay. So if you've got a husband, if you've got yourself, or you've got a kid that does a lot of those violent video games, it's not healthy. I'm just going to tell you right now, and you just bring all the hate you want. I don't care anymore. Honestly, I've been in the public too long for you guys to really move my needle too much. Um, it's true. It's true. And I've been tiptoeing around it for a while because gamers are very passionate about their gaming. But you know what? It's an addiction. And when you're in it, you can't see it. So those people are being radicalized. They're still being radicalized. We're still going to have that energy. Okay. That internal combustion of certain people. I'm going to leave this here because I could just keep going forever for no reason. Let me know what you think. Let me know your comments. I really appreciate it. If you're still watching to the end, I really appreciate you. Everything is going to be okay. We are really getting close to breaking this fever and moving into a time of convalescence. And then we're going to move into a time of recovery. And then we're going to move into a time of action. So I feel like we're really moving in the right direction, um, and we're going to get there. It's not going to be a straight line. It's not going to be without its challenges, but we're moving in the right direction. If you want to know more about me, please go to SusanLynnMedium.com. I have an online community where people like you, people like me, hang out. We share, we support, we help each other. It is completely separate from anything else on this platform. It's not YouTube, it's not Meta, it's not any of those things. It is a private place where your thoughts can be private, your identity can be private, and you are safe there. I am there with you 6 hours a month, doing events with you, doing readings with you, on Zoom calls right here with me. Um, it's truly, I think, a beautiful, magical place. I would love for you to join me. If you would like to do so, SusanLynnMedium.com. It's $12 a month. You can join, you can cancel. If you have any questions about the membership, please email us at info@SusanLynnMedium.com. You can email us through the website, SusanLynnMedium.com. Take really good care of yourself. I want us, my dream is for us to come through the other side of this. And this feels like summer of next year. So not that long, not that far off, where we're relaxed, where we can breathe again, where we're not holding our breath. So a few months away, but worth it because the end is near. The light at the end of the tunnel is here. And then we go into our rebuilding phase. And I need you to be there. I need you to be there in your community. Your community needs you, right? More importantly than the White House, your community needs you because these power people are going to be moving back into their communities. You know, they're bailing out of Congress. They're going to come right back into their state and claim the power in their state. Why? Because states have power. They just realized, oh my God, this state has so much power, it stood up to the United States of America. They're going to bail out of Congress. They're going to come right back to your community. So please take really good care of yourself, pace yourself, love on yourself, cherish yourself. You are worthy. You are worthy. It's really important that we take care of ourselves because when we take care of ourselves, we have the energy to help others. And that's the whole purpose of being on this planet. Okay? Take really, really good care of yourself. I'll see you again really soon. For entertainment purposes only.